Hello and welcome to attempt number something. I don't even remember how many attempts I did to try and beat this lap record, but for this track and this car combination, I don't think it's possible. You're recording, right? Yeah, and that is pretty much the best I can do. What I'll do is I'll just show you the current setup that I'm using on this track for this car, and I think this setup is the most drivable with the least amount of downforce that you need, like the minimum amount of downforce that you need to get the best top speed out of the car. But I don't think the engine is powerful enough to get the times that we saw in 2025. There are the cars that I can get sub 25s, like I can get sub 30s with, but that I can easily get sub 30s with, but the cars don't feel as realistic as this one. I assume that since this one worked in Bahrain, it would work similarly on this track, but yeah, the car's pace is way off than something I would expect. So I'm thinking maybe the track might be slightly longer than the real life track or something. Maybe the scale is incorrect, but I'm not sure why exactly it's 3 seconds off pace. I mean, even if you look at the lap itself, I think I'm using the entirety of the track. You're trying to use as much width of the track as possible to get the fastest time, essentially. It's something that you can look up there. There's a bunch of tutorials on how to use as much of the track as possible. It looks like, yeah, I'm using a lot of the track, but still I'm not able to get the time that I want. I don't know if it's the length of the track or if it's the vehicle's power, but yeah, I can't seem to be able to do it. So as usual, I'll go through my settings and explain each section of the setup and the changes I made and why I made those changes. So just in case you might have doubts of exactly how much time I put on this track, if you look at the the stats for this track, driven in car it's 9,000, so I do have a lot of experience with the car, but driven on track it's like 7,774.5 kilometers. The length of the track, which is Jeddah Qualifying in Saudi Arabia, is 6.2 kilometers. So if you do the math, 7,774.5 divided by 6.2, 1,254 laps. Okay, so let's load up the settings and let's see what's up. I'll just do a quick load there. So currently, obviously, the gear ratios, you can't change them, they're fixed. The tires are soft, pressures are pretty much unchanged. Fuel, it's on 15. The engine map is on high. Electronics, it's on low. But currently, the good thing about these cars is that they have like an ERS map, so you can pretty much set it in such a way that it deploys automatically. So before I was using like manual deployment, but I kind of learned how to do this with the RSS cars. I believe the VRC cars have ERS maps as well, which is convenient. So I no longer really do much manual deployment unless I'm in like corners, that pockets of the track that I don't have ERS already. It's pretty much just automatic at this point. If you want a video to show you how to do the ERS maps for this car, you can let me know, but I think I'm going to make the video anyway. But these are currently the settings for the electronics. Let's see, 15 degrees. Yeah, so the maximum error, as I was saying, for this car, it's 30 degrees, right? But I did a little bit of Google searching just to see if I was kind of on the right track, and they do say that Jeddah is more of a high-speed track, less downforce, so moderate aero is recommended for this track. So I was testing mine on 20. I started out on 30, then I reduced it to 20, and I started seeing improvements out of the corners as far as the lap times were concerned, because the car accelerates quicker to a top speed if the wings are less aggressive. So I noticed that improvement after that. And then I lowered the wings again to 15 degrees, and then I noticed and then I noticed even more improvements after that, right? And then I lowered them to 10. That's when I started seeing it actually started going in the opposite direction. So going out of the corners at 15 degrees wings for both sides, front and back, I actually started losing time. So I turned them back to 15 from 10, and it improved the lap times again. So I do feel that 15 degrees is the optimal. You don't have to brake as early with 15 degrees as you do with 10, so it saves you time there. My brake bias is at 50%, brake power 100. Brake migration, I'm not really a fan of brake migration, at least not yet. I'll see in the future if I can try to tweak it to suit my needs, but for now I just go with normal brakes with zero migration. Drivability, it's at position 6. The engine map, the brake engine mapping is at 7. If it's too aggressive, you start logging up the rear, so that's not good. Drivetrain, all of mine are at 1. I think the default is like 3 or something. The preload, I put it all the way down to 0 because I think the car, even at 0 preload, is pretty stable. The alignments, I just changed the toe here from this toe was too I think it was too high. I ended up putting it negative for the rear and negative for the front. It helps with the turn-in. It makes the car significantly more agile, so I think that setting works best for my driving style. This one was at the stiffest because I wanted to be the most reactive, but the rear is at its softest because I didn't want it to skip. Like the tires skip a lot if the suspension is too stiff in the back. And these ones, they're almost the same settings as the ones that I used for Bahrain, but I don't think changing these is going to save me like 3 seconds. Like the gains at this point, they're extremely minimal. It's practically pointless to change. I just think this comes down to either the engine power or the map might be too long, but I don't think so, because apparently a lot of people praise this track for being very accurate compared to the real life track, so I don't think it's the length. I did measure it in a car. I just went and drove one lap around the track and it gave me back 6.2 kilometers, so I think the track itself, the track length, is accurate. It cannot be 3 seconds off. But yeah, these are the rest of the settings. You can feel free to pause the video to see the settings, but yeah, this is pretty much the best. Yeah, these are pretty much the only settings that affect handling. But yeah, I tried my best, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to call it quits on Jeddah at this time. My best is 3.4. No, my best is 129, but yeah, I'm forgetting exactly which setting I used for that. It may have been slightly quicker due to these ERS settings, like they were more aggressive on other parts of the track, but these changes, I don't think any ERS changes at this time are going to save 2 seconds. No ways. That is pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching.